The House of Rothschild by Niall Ferguson. Published in 1999. Book Summary. Volume 1, Money's Profits, 1798 to 1848. Chapter 1, The Genesis of a Dynasty. Mayer Amschel Rothschild was born in 1744 in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt. Limited by anti-Semitic restrictions, he worked as a coin dealer, learning the intricacies of finance. Through connections with the noble houses of Europe, particularly the powerful Prince William of Hesse-Kassel, he transformed his modest business into a burgeoning banking empire. He recognized early on that his fortunes would rise through financing nobility rather than commerce. As war and revolution swept Europe, Mayer Amschel positioned himself as a trusted financial intermediary, discreetly managing assets and funding military operations. But his vision extended beyond his own lifetime. He understood that to build an enduring financial dynasty, he needed a strategy for succession. Chapter 2, 5 Brothers, One Empire. Before his death in 1812, Mayer Amschel laid the foundation for his sons to take over his banking empire. He distributed power among his 5 sons strategically across Europe. Amschel remained in Frankfurt, managing the home branch. Salomon established the Vienna office, dealing with the Austrian court. Nathan built the most powerful branch in London. Karl took charge of the Naples branch, extending influence into Italy. James settled in Paris, securing ties with the French financial system. Their coordination across borders allowed them to dominate international finance. Unlike other banking families, the Rothschilds relied on one another rather than outside partners, ensuring secrecy and control. Their private courier network gave them unparalleled intelligence on political and economic developments. Chapter 3, Nathan Rothschild and the British Markets. Nathan Rothschild, the most ambitious of the brothers, turned the London branch into the most powerful financial house in Britain. He saw the potential of government bonds, investing heavily in them and developing methods to manipulate the market in his favor. His ability to anticipate shifts in international politics made him extraordinarily successful. During the Napoleonic Wars, Nathan played a crucial role in financing the British war effort. He facilitated the transfer of gold and silver to Wellington's army in Spain, an operation so risky that it could have bankrupted him. Yet, it paid off immensely. The family's ability to move vast sums of money across borders made them indispensable to European governments. Chapter 4, The Waterloo Coup. Perhaps the most famous moment in Rothschild history came with the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Nathan Rothschild's network provided him with news of Napoleon's defeat before the British government knew. In a daring financial maneuver, he appeared to sell British government bonds, causing panic in the markets. When bond prices plummeted, he secretly bought them up at a fraction of their value. When news of victory finally reached the public, bond prices skyrocketed, and the Rothschilds made a fortune. This moment cemented the Rothschilds' reputation as masters of finance, though it also fueled myths about their control over global events. Chapter 5, Post-War Dominance. With Napoleon defeated, European governments sought to restore their economies. The Rothschilds emerged as the primary financiers of post-war reconstruction, issuing loans to multiple governments. They pioneered international bond markets, creating a financial system where money could move quickly across borders, making it easier for nations to secure funding. Their reach extended beyond Europe. The Rothschilds also financed South American independence movements, particularly in Brazil. By lending to monarchs and revolutionaries alike, they ensured profits regardless of political outcomes. Chapter 6, The Rothschilds and the Jewish Question. Despite their power, the Rothschilds faced persistent anti-Semitism. Their influence often made them targets of conspiracy theories. However, they leveraged their financial strength to push for Jewish emancipation across Europe. James Rothschild in France and Nathan's son, Lionel, in Britain, used their political connections to advocate for Jewish civil rights. In Britain, Lionel Rothschild became the first Jew elected to Parliament but was unable to take his seat because he refused to swear a Christian oath. The battle for Jewish political representation became one of the family's long-term struggles. Chapter 7, Revolution and Uncertainty. The revolutions of 1848 marked a turning point. Nationalist uprisings and Republican movements shook Europe, threatening the stability that had allowed the Rothschilds to thrive. Governments defaulted on loans, and the Rothschilds, once pillars of European monarchies, had to navigate a new political landscape where democratic ideals were rising. For the first time, their dominance was challenged. Though they suffered financial setbacks, Their ability to adapt and evolve ensured their survival. They continued to finance industrial expansion, particularly in railroads, securing a future beyond traditional banking. Conclusion: the legacy of the money's profits. By 1848, the Rothschilds had built the world's most powerful financial empire. Their innovations in bond markets, international finance, and intelligence gathering reshaped global banking. They had outlasted Napoleon, weathered revolutions, and set the stage for modern capitalism. Yet, challenges loomed. The 19th century would bring new competitors, shifting political alliances, and a changing world order. The House of Rothschild would have to adapt once more, but as history had already proven, they were masters at surviving in an uncertain world. The House of Rothschild, Volume 2, The World's Banker, 1849 to 1999. Chapter 1, Expansion and the Global Stage. Volume 2 of The House of Rothschild begins by focusing on the transformation of the Rothschild banking empire from a regional powerhouse into a global financial behemoth. The years following 1849 marked a period of political upheaval and economic development that presented both challenges and opportunities for the Rothschild family. The family's financial acumen and political alliances allowed them to thrive during the 19th century's era of industrialization and imperial expansion. The Rothschilds began to expand their operations beyond Europe, establishing a more significant presence in both the United States and across the British Empire. This marked the family's shift from merely financiers of European governments to being more involved in the global capital markets, including loans to foreign governments and international infrastructure projects. The family's dominance in global finance continued to be built upon the bedrock established by Nathan Mayer Rothschild, who had already established a reputation for political savvy and financial innovation. The second generation of Rothschilds, led by Nathan's descendants, found new ways to diversify their investments into railroad expansion, mining, and even the development of new banking systems. Chapter 2, Financial Power and Political Influence. As the 19th century unfolded, the Rothschilds' financial dealings were deeply interwoven with European geopolitics. This section examines the family's involvement in financing wars, particularly the financing of British efforts in the Napoleonic Wars. By the mid-1800s, they were considered to be the unofficial central bankers of Europe, with a direct line to some of the most powerful political figures of the time. The family's support for key political events, like the establishment of the Suez Canal and the financing of various imperial ventures, allowed them to maintain influence on the global stage. By providing capital to various national governments, the Rothschilds secured lucrative banking privileges and a position at the heart of the financial world. However, this period also saw tensions between the Rothschilds and emerging rival financial institutions, such as J.P. Morgan and other American financiers. As the Rothschilds became more deeply embedded in the banking industry, their network of political contacts and governmental ties played a significant role in maintaining their competitive advantage. Chapter 3, The Political Economy of the Rothschilds. Ferguson delves into the political strategies that allowed the Rothschilds to maintain their grip on power and wealth over generations. The family understood the critical relationship between capital and political power, and as the political landscape shifted during the late 19th century, they were adept at shifting their strategies to preserve their dominance. The Rothschilds played a pivotal role in the creation of the modern financial infrastructure. They were involved in the creation of several key financial instruments and structures that would lay the foundation for the modern global economy, including the development of government bond markets and the creation of international investment syndicates. Their influence extended well beyond banking. The Rothschilds helped to shape the trajectory of European political development, acting as major sponsors of the infrastructure of empire. They provided financial support for imperial projects, including the construction of railways and the creation of colonial enterprises across the globe. Chapter 4, The Rise of the Modern Banking System. The late 19th and early 20th century saw the birth of modern capitalism, and with it, a shift in global economic power. The Rothschild family, having established a firm foothold in European and global banking, expanded into new areas of commerce, including investment in natural resources, such as gold, oil, and diamonds. The rise of rival banking houses like J.P. Morgan, the rise of American financial dominance, and the emergence of corporate finance posed a challenge to the Rothschilds' empire. However, their international reputation and legacy allowed them to navigate the increasing competition in ways that ensured the family's influence continued well into the 20th century. Despite these challenges, the Rothschilds continued to innovate, investing in new industries and aligning themselves with the growing power of emerging markets. They also became major players in the financing of governments outside Europe, particularly in the United States, where they supported large infrastructure projects and the development of financial markets. Chapter 5: The Rothschilds in the Age of Wars and Revolutions. World War I and its aftermath marked a crucial period in the Rothschilds' history. The war dramatically shifted the global financial system, with the United States emerging as the dominant financial power and Europe devastated by the costs of the conflict. The Rothschild family had been major financiers during the war, and their fortunes, like those of many other European financiers, were significantly impacted by the upheaval caused by the war. The interwar period was marked by continued political instability and economic turbulence. The Rothschilds, while maintaining their financial influence, faced mounting challenges in preserving their legacy. Nationalism, the rise of populism, and the development of global markets led to a transformation of the international financial system that displaced many of the Rothschilds' former advantages. In the face of these challenges, the Rothschild family diversified its holdings, shifting into industries like real estate, mining, and art. They maintained their global networks and kept their financial positions strong, even as the political landscape changed dramatically with the rise of fascism, communism, and the eventual outbreak of World War II. Chapter 6: The Post-War Era and Decline of the Rothschild Influence. After World War II, the Rothschilds' role in global finance began to decline as the power of European financial dynasties waned in the face of American economic supremacy. In the post-war world, the United States emerged as the primary economic superpower, and American financial institutions began to dominate global finance. The family's holdings became more diversified, with the Rothschilds moving into industries unrelated to banking, including investments in the arts, estates, and philanthropic ventures. Despite their diminished influence in international finance, the Rothschild family continued to maintain a strong presence in the political and cultural worlds. Conclusion: Legacy and the Future of the Rothschild Family. By the end of Volume 2, Niall Ferguson reflects on the lasting legacy of the Rothschild family. The Rothschilds may no longer hold the same level of power they once did in global finance, but their historical significance is undeniable. From humble beginnings in Frankfurt to their rise as financiers to the global elite, the Rothschild family has shaped the development of modern finance and global capitalism. While the family's fortunes have fluctuated over time, the Rothschilds remain a symbol of how financial influence, political power, and an understanding of global markets can combine to create an enduring legacy in world history. As we move into the 21st century, the Rothschilds continue to hold onto their legacy through strategic investments, personal wealth, and their connection to key political and economic events.